brought them and bringeth them up into an high mountain apart. Notice, if you will, Jesus did not pick a small mountain to get away with 3 of his disciples. He picked a huge mountain. Jesus was not afraid of mountains. He didn't let big, tall, huge mountains get him down. Jesus used them to take him up. You should not ever let your problems get you down. You should use your problems to be a better person, to overcome all obstacles, to know that the Lord brought you through back then and he can bring you through right now. Now, when Jesus got to the top of the mountain with his disciples, they saw his transfiguration. They saw his face shine as the sun. They saw his clothes as white as light. They saw Moses and Elijah talking with him. They saw a bright cloud as it overshadowed them, and they heard a voice out of the cloud saying, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him." Now, when the transfiguration was over, Jesus returned to the other 9 disciples. For some unknown reason, they had to stay behind. When Jesus shows up, he finds the other 9 disciples surrounded by a multitude of people. And out of the crowd, there is a man that sees Jesus, and he's a frustrated father, and he comes to Jesus. He meets Jesus, and he kneels down before him. According to verse 14 and 15, when the Father saw Jesus, he went to him, kneeled down, and told him that his son was a lunatic. He didn't say, "My son is mentally challenged." He said, "My son is crazy." Got any crazy children? Jesus can't help you with the problem if you try to act like you don't have one. A lot of people, they got problems all over their lives. You see problems written all over their face. And they try to act like everything is fine. They try to act like they don't have a problem at all. If you try to act like you don't have a problem, God can't do anything for you. You've got to admit, "Lord, I need your help. I've got a problem." You can't expect folks to be, what do I want to say, a palm reader, a mind reader. A lot of folks set up in church and they got problems, and they think the church automatically ought to know that you got a problem, and they're mad, got their lips stuck out, got their eyes all crossed because nobody's offered to help them because they haven't said that, "Hey, I need your help." You hear what I'm saying, don't you? You got a problem, you need to tell somebody. Church can't catch stuff by, what you call it, osmosis. Can't catch that kind of news. Well, you ought to know. They saw I was walking. Well, I thought you were exercising. Got to tell. So the father went on to say what he was going through. He said, "My son falls into the fire, jumps into the water." In other words, he's telling Jesus, "My son tried to burn himself up. Tried to drown himself." So the father saying, "I got a lunatic on my hands." And then in an effort to get help for his son, verse 16, he says to Jesus, "You know, I tried to do something. I brought him to your disciples, and they couldn't even cure him. I brought him to church, and the church couldn't help him. Saw one of you good church members and tried to get them to pray, and they didn't know how to pray to anybody. Didn't know how to counsel them. Couldn't even. My son was not saved. And I sent for some of them to go over and talk to him. They didn't even know how with them. The point is, when you follow Jesus long enough, and when He teaches you more than enough, the Lord expects something out of you. A lot of us think we just come to church just to, get exercise, to get up and come to church and go home. You come to church to learn to do the work of the ministry. There's a reason for coming to church. It's not coming to hear, it's coming to hear so that you can become a doer. Jesus expects you to grow up. He expects us men to man up. He expects women to woman up. He's looking for you to be able to handle spiritual situations that come into your life. There are some things that will come against you that you can't love away. There are some things that will come against you that you can't pray away. There are some things that will come up against you, and Jesus is expecting you to have the power to be able to deal with it on your own. You don't have to call pastor. You don't have to call deacon. There are some things that come up against you. You don't have to call nobody. You can handle it yourself. Go to the Lord in prayer. There are some things that are plain enough in the Word of God that will tell you how to handle your situation without having to worry the Lord about it. So verse 18 says, and Jesus rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him, and the child was cured that very hour. Now there is no question in my mind about how the disciples felt. I know they felt bad about not being able to heal the man's son. I know that they felt that they had fallen short of what they should have done, that they couldn't do. And they felt bad that they couldn't do it because, point one is, they had a gift from God to do it. In Matthew chapter 10 and verse 8, Jesus had already told His disciples to heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, and to cast out devils. And they went away, and they did it. They even came back to Jesus rejoiced and said, "Oh Lord, we were so victorious. We conquered the demons. They were subject unto us." And the Lord says, "In that we stand and rejoice not, but you ought to rejoice that your names are written in the Lamb's book of life." So, now they are not able to cast out this devil. So, between then and now, something happened. They can't do now what they did then. So I know they're feeling bad, and I can tell it because they didn't bring up the mess up around the crowd. They waited until Jesus got along. They picked a time when nobody else was around. I guess around them they wanted to act like they knew everything. Then they got Jesus alone, and then in verse 19, they came to Jesus apart and said, "Lord, why could not we cast him out? How come we couldn't do what you did?" When you see Jesus casting out devils, and when you see him doing what you want to do and you can't do it, it's okay to ask him, how come you can't do it? You ought to find out why you can't be like Jesus. And Jesus will tell you. The problem is some folks, they want Jesus to always have a nice little answer for everything. I don't care what some folk are going through, they want a pretty little answer for it. No. I don't care what it is. You can meet up with the worst person in the world, Well, there's some good in it, you know, we pray for it. That's always shy. You want a nice little